Hey students, the first thing I would like to talk to you about is an idea for the art room. This is called engage and persist. And this is one of the ways artists think. We can learn to embrace problems of importance and develop focus within our artwork. Now, when I say engage and persist, those might be unusual or new words for you. But the idea here is that artists can get better through practice and hard work. You might do a drawing that you do not like, but if you will change it, if you will erase or go over your lines, you can make your drawing better. The more we work at our art, the better we get. Just like when we practice reading, we get better at reading. And when we practice math, we get better at math. The same thing is true in art class. I can tell the difference between an artwork that was quickly done without much care and an artwork that is neat and complete, where you took your time and made changes because you were ready to make your art the best you could. So today we're going to learn a process of drawing some lines using crayon, but we're going to engage and persist. I'm going to show you how to hold a crayon differently, and it's going to be new. So I want you to give it your best try, and I'll be able to see your artwork when you turn that in. This is the artwork I just finished making, and maybe I shouldn't say finished, but I did draw it. I might color it now. You can see I used crayon and I did a lot of different kinds of lines. If you look closely, you can see that I went over this line again and again. I didn't just make one zigzag line, but I went back and forth over the same line. And the same thing is true for this loopy line and this line that we might call a castle line. I drew this line in yellow first, and I thought that it wasn't showing up very bright. So I went over it again with a red crayon, and then you can see it more. So I'm going to show you how to do this. The way we will start is we'll have a crayon, and I'm going to hold my crayon. I'm not going to hold it like this, like I'm writing my name with a pencil. I'm going to hold it like this. And when I draw, when I put the crayon on the paper, I'm not going to lay my hand down on the surface and rub my whole side of my hand against the paper. I'm going to stand up and just have the tip of my crayon touching the paper and maybe my pinky, but I won't touch the paper with the whole side of my hand. So the first line was a very easy one. It's a straight line, and I'll start on the left and I'll go gradually across, slow and careful to make a very straight line. And when I get to the other side, I'm not going to pick up my crayon. I'm going to turn around and go backwards in reverse over the same line. That's a pretty straight line. I'm going to do it again all the way down and all the way back. And as I do this, I'm concentrating on making the best line that I can with my crayon. I hope you can see that my hand was not laying down, scooching across the paper, but it was standing up and just sort of dancing across the paper. Before you take your turn, please watch what I do. Let me go first, and then you take a turn. So I'm going to draw a zigzag line next, and you can do this with me. With your finger and no crayon, go up, down, up, down, up, down. A zigzag line is straight with corners. It's like a straight line and a bend every time. And when I draw this line, I want my zigzags all to be the same height and the same width. So here I go, up, down, just watching me right now, children. I'm making each little point the same height And if it's not that dark, that's okay. I'm making a continuous line. That means I did not stop and pick up my crayon. I got down to the side, and now it's time to go in reverse. Back over the same line again, with my hand not scooching along the paper, but just the crayon. And I've gone over it 2 times. I can go over it a 3rd time if I want to. In a continuous line. That means I didn't pick up my crayon. So that's a zigzag line. I bet you knew that one before. What's another good line that we can do? We can do a wavy line. A wavy line that is, or bumpy. You might call it a bumpy line. I'll go up and down, sort of like a water wave goes up and down. So watch me go, and then it'll be your turn. Here I go. I'm going to go up and down, and I want each wave to be the same height and the same distance. When I get to the right side of the paper, I'm going backwards now in a continuous line without picking up my crayon. Back and forth, back and forth. All right, that's a straight line, a zigzag, and a wavy line, but there are so many more. I switched colors, and now I'm going to do a scalloped line, and that's like a scoop, 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 all the way down and all the way back. I'm going to try not to lay my hand lazy, but I'm going to stand my hand up. Here I go. Scoop, scoop, scoop. Trying to make all of these the same distance. And if I don't like it, I can correct it when I come back over that line later. So there we go, a continuous scalloped or scoop line. Okay. The next line I want to make will be the castle line. Like the top of a castle, the battlements of a castle. And I've switched colors, and I will go straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, trying to make each one of these block shapes the same height and the same width as the last one. This takes concentration and practice. So please go slowly and carefully as you go over these lines, one by one. So there's my castle line. The next line is going to be a loopy line where I go up and around and around and around. And I'm going to come backwards too. So go ahead with your finger. See if you can do a loopy line. And now watch as I go. Loopy, loop. This is sort of like that scalloped line, except that I make a full loop. I'm coming back around. Making the same line, just tracing over it. So this scallop line, the blue one, just stopped at a point, but this one went around in a continuous line. Here's a fun line we sometimes call the mouse ear line. And we will go a lot like the castle line, but we will make a circle at the top, almost a circle. Straight on the bottom, circle on the top. All the way down and all the way back. When I draw with my finger, you can call this envision. To envision something that isn't there yet. Here we go. With my crayon, I will make a straight line and then a loop at the top. Straight line, loop at the top. Now you might be able to see why we call it a mouse ear line. It looks a little bit like a Mickey Mouse ear. When I get to the edge of my page, I turn around and go in reverse, carefully going over these lines. Sometimes when I meet kindergartners and first graders, they think art is a race. But art is not a race. We're trying to go slow and careful to make neat artwork that is beautiful to look at. So we are not trying to finish in a hurry. Next, let's take this loopy line and let's make a loop up and then a loop down. Up and down, up and down. That'll be fun. Let's see. I haven't used this color in a while. So I'm going to go loop up, loop down, loop up, loop down. It's a very tricky line, but you can do it if you try. So watch me first. Loop up, loop down, loop up, loop down, loop up, loop down, loop up, loop down. And now I'll go backwards over these lines again. So that's a loop that goes up and down. I have room for one more line on my page. What can I do? I will do one last line, and I would like to make a wave, not like our scalloped line, and not like our bumpy line, but a wave that looks sort of like the curling waves that are crashing in the ocean. It will go up like a C and then curl back. Up like a C and curl back. Here I go. The letter C goes up and then it curls back. Up and back. Some of these lines are very tricky. But that's why we do these practices. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different types of lines. Now you can color these in any way you choose. You can take your color and color in the spaces in between your two lines and make your picture lovely. Spend some time making it as neat and careful as you can. When you finish, don't forget to take a picture of your lines and submit them on Schoology.